everyone, it's me, Aaron, Professor Thorgi, and here on this channel, January is the time in which I like to look back at all the great stuff that came out last year, and last year had a ton of great video games. There was Arkham Knight, there was Splatoon, Smash Bros had a lot of DLC. Okay, full disclosure, I didn't actually get around to playing a lot of video games last year because between this channel and working a full-time job, I just didn't have the time for it. In fact, I even started last year a Let's Play channel, Gamers In, as an excuse for me to play video games. It was my attempt to try and force myself to play games, and even that I fell behind on and I haven't been able to update in a while. But this year, 2016, I am making it one of my resolutions. I am going to make time to actually play video games. I'm going to get Gamers In back up, and it's a good thing that I'm doing it this year because this year there are a ton of great video games coming out. So let's take a look at them. These are my top 10 most anticipated video games of 2016. Before we get into the top 10, let's do some honorable mentions. These are the games that I am looking forward to, but for one reason or another, they didn't crack the top 10, but I still want to talk about them. First up, I want to talk about Legend of Zelda. I am indeed looking forward to the new Legend of Zelda game. I am very excited for it because I love the Legend of Zelda franchise. That franchise has a 90% success ratio. That other 10%, let's not think about that. But the reason why this didn't make the top 10 is simply because we haven't really seen much for it. We saw that one very quick teaser trailer which looked cool, and we saw that the map is going to be huge, but that's all I know so far. So that's not enough for me to put in the top 10 just yet. I'm also looking forward to the Shin Megami Tensei Fire Emblem crossover game because I love both those franchises, but not to spoil what's in the actual top 10, but I feel like if I put that on the list, it might be a little bit repetitive, so I'm just leaving it off for that. But oh my gosh, it's Persona with Fire Emblem characters. It looks so good. Next up is Last Guardian and Mighty No. 9. I'm looking forward to both these things if they actually come out. These things have been delayed so many times that I don't care how good they look until I actually see some box art and a release date that is firmly set. I can't put it in my top 10. And then the last game that's going into my honorable mentions is Final Fantasy 15. I love the Final Fantasy franchise, but that love has started to grow a little bit stale over recent years, and I'm hoping that this game will fix all that. But until I actually get my hands on it, I am hesitantly looking forward to this thing. Let's all just, never forget 13 and 13-2. And 13-3. Jesus, make a new game! Okay, starting us off at number 10 is Cuphead. I love any game that is really willing to be ballsy and really try something new and give me something that I have not seen before. And yeah, Cuphead is just a platformer, side-scroller type of game, but look at that design. If you told me that one day there would be a video game out there in which they took the design and the feel and the settings of really old, messed up cartoons, because believe you me, back before Looney Tunes came in and kind of stabilized that whole cartoon market, cartoons used to be messed up. But if you told me one day somebody would be able to take the feel and the vision of those old cartoons and put it perfectly into a video game, I would have called you a liar because I didn't think it could be done. And yet, here we are. I have seen the trailers for these. I have watched the gameplay for this. This is exactly like the feel of those old cartoons. That is insane to me that someone could try and actually achieve that. Next up is Overwatch. Now, I'll go ahead and admit that multiplayer first-person shooters just aren't my type of game. I kind of, suck at them. I'm terrible at them. I am awful. However, I'm a sucker for great character designs, and as I have watched each of the trailers that have come out, and as I've looked at each of the different character models that they have displayed, this game looks like everything that I want, except for the fact that it's a first-person shooter. But aside from that, This looks like the exact type of game that I want. Every single character looks original and unique and new, and each of them have creative abilities and powers that each play into the type of character that they are, and their character designs play so well with their personalities, and it looks like there's going to be a good, fun, goofy, upbeat story about superheroes. God, I am so excited about just talking about it. Even if I suck at this game, I can't wait to watch all the different Let's Plays of it out there. In fact, just the storyline and the characters look so creative and fun. Even before the game came out, I looked at it and went, I want a comic book based on this. I want an entire ongoing series based around these characters, give every single one of them their own one-shots that gets into their backstory. I would buy them all up. Next up, this one might come as a surprise to everyone, seeing as how I'm 6'3", 30-year-old man who grew up out in the woods like a lumberjack, but I love cute stuff. I do. I love cute, adorable things. Look at all the stuff behind me, for God's sakes. Look at it. I love adorable stuff. And the most adorable looking game of 2016 has to be A Hat in Time. Now this game has already come out in alpha and beta, and I've seen a couple of Let's Plays on it, and it looks adorable, but I've decided to wait until the finished product is finally out there, and I can't wait, because this game takes those old 3D platform mechanics and puts it into this big, open, new world with great character designs, great looking boss battles, great looking supporting characters. Again, I'm a sucker for great character design, and these character designs are so cute, but even the worlds themselves are adorable. For God's sake, she's jumping on a giant cookie. That's adorable. I cannot wait for this game to come out. It looks so much fun. Next up at number 7, I'm not just a fan of cute things, I'm a fan of fighting games. That's right, I'm a gamer of many different sides. But the number one fighting game of 2016 that I'm looking forward to has to be Street Fighter V. Street Fighter V, I know that's a cliche to come in here and be like, oh yeah, that's one of my favorite fighting games out there, but honestly, it is one of my favorite fighting games out there. It survived for this long for a reason, and it wasn't because of the magic of Skullomania. No Skullomania. Never again. Now, I actually got to play this a little bit at Comic-Con, and no joke, the controller I was given was broken. And I'm not saying that like one of those like, oh, I lost, my controller must be broken. I mean that it gave time for me to select my character, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna select one of the new ones. Right. Why is it staying on Ryu? Right. Well, I guess I'll select Ryu. Why isn't it selecting Ryu? And then when the timer ran up, it was like, all right, you're Ryu. I was like, well, maybe it's just broken on the select screen. Well, this guy's playing someone new, so I can get some experience with it. And then it was like, all right, do a Hadouken. Move right. Jump. And the guy kept hopping around me waiting for me to do something, and then eventually I just took my hands off the controller and went, is your thing broken? I was like, give it a shot, and he tested it. I was like, yeah, sure enough. I got the freaking lemon controller. I waited in line all this time to play this thing, and it was freaking busted on me, and Alright, calm down, I'm chill now. Anyway, as I was saying, I wanted a chance to try it out, but I have yet to be able to test it, so I'm really looking forward to this game because it will be my first chance to finally freaking play it. But I've always loved Street Fighter because, I can't lie, it's just so goofy. All the characters are so freaking weird in this franchise, and I've been looking at these new ones. That's going to continue. As I said, I love character designs, and there are some goofy character designs coming up. I cannot wait to play as them. I cannot wait to get online, have some fun. Although I will say that Zangief now has an anti-air move, so I'm not looking forward to winning ever again. But I still can't wait to play this game and the inevitable 5 or 6 sequels to the game. So look forward to my review in 2 years from now of Super Ultra Mega Hyper Street Fighter V Arcade Turbo Edition. Next up at number 6 is XCOM 2. Now, I'll admit, I don't typically play a lot of tactical turn-based games, but everybody kept recommending XCOM to me, so when I picked it up, I played it, and I reminded myself of why I don't play a lot of tactical turn-based games. It's because they are so insanely addictive. When I played XCOM, that was one of those games in which it didn't matter what else I had to do. I would just sit down and be like, well, this is what I'm doing the rest of the day. I played through that whole game, leveling up everything, getting my party just right, and even though they were all just faceless goons, whenever one of them died, it hurt because I spent all that time working on them, but I would just go back and start building up my next party member, and I loved the gameplay so much. And yeah, XCOM right after that tried to follow it up with the Bureau, which, the less said about that, the better. but with XCOM 2, it looks like they are returning to what worked for them, and I can't wait to go back into it. It's got new settings, new soldiers, new aliens. It's all new, and I want it now. Next up at number 5 is Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, I had never heard of this game until I saw it at E3 last year, and no game impressed me more at E3 than this one. I'm so sick of the post-apocalyptic setting. We've seen it done so many times before, so I really didn't care about this game until I saw it and realized they were giving me that setting in a brand new light. They were actually doing something new with it. These aren't the robot apocalyptic soldiers who are walking around with guns trying to exterminate all mankind. You're struggling to survive. No, this is just the machines took over, but they just kind of like reverted everything back to primal ages. The machines are now just trying to survive like you are, except the machines have now turned into giant robot animals, and humans have reverted back to their primal states. It's kind of the story of early man struggling to survive, except instead of giant mammoths that they have to hunt down, they're hunting down robot T-Rexes. That's new. Haven't gotten that in the robot apocalypse yet. So yes, this all looks new, and also the gameplay looks great. If it plays as well as that trailer showed off, this looks like it's going to be one of the best sneaking and hunting and gathering and surviving games I've seen since probably Skyrim. And the way that you can use weapons, that's probably what impressed me the most. The fact that when you actually take down one of these monsters, you can get them and use them as a weapon, or you could even just take off a chunk of them and use that as a weapon. That to me sounds like one of the most fun gameplay mechanics I've heard pitched in a while. Next up, appropriately enough, at number 4 is Uncharted 4. Now, I love the Uncharted franchise. Those games have some of the most fun, likable characters I have seen, giving out great, witty dialogue in beautiful, jaw-dropping sceneries with amazing, adventurous gameplay. And this one promises to be the final one in the series. And as we all know when it comes to video games, when you say it's the final one, that's the final one. You don't ever come back and just try and make another one for more money. But this sounds like it'll be the last one that they actually try to wrap up the story in, so I have to applaud them for that. And combining that with all the great new visuals and advanced hard drives of the new generation of consoles, it sounds like this will be the most epic game in one of the most epic game series that I have ever played. At number 3 is Fire Emblem Fates. Now, I'll admit I've only ever played one Fire Emblem game in my life. It was the last one that came out, and I loved it. I got so addicted to that game. I loved all the characters. I loved the gameplay. Like, yeah, as I said, I'm not the biggest fan of the tactile turn-based gameplay mechanics, but this one, once again, it was so addictive to me, especially the way that they put in their character relations and made sure that the character relations and the stories that you could build between characters would actually make them stronger when they teamed up in battle. That was a great gameplay mechanic. I wonder if any other game franchise has ever tried that. A game franchise that I am also very much looking forward to. We'll get to that in a moment. Now, I'll admit I'm a little bit nervous about this game simply because it's going to be 3 different stories, and apparently the only way you can even play the third one is if you reserve the combo pack of the other 2 games, which from what I understand sold out instantly the moment that pre-orders started going up. However, I may or may not have an inside man who is going to get me a copy. So I am a little bit nervous about the overall size of this and how hard it's going to be to find the complete third part of this game. And also I have that fear in the back of my head that every single game is basically going to be exactly the same, just with different characters delivering different bits of dialogue. But best case scenario is that every single one of these games are going to be completely different stories involving brand new characters, showing you this big battle from different points of view and different characters' angles. That sounds amazing. If that's what this is going to actually be, it will blow my mind. Plus, the protagonist is going to take up the last available slot in Smash Bros, so fingers crossed that I end up liking them. It could have been Shovel Knight. Almost there. At number 2 is Persona 5. Do I even need to talk about this game? If you have watched my channel, you know I am a huge fan of the Persona franchise. Persona 4 is quite possibly my favorite game of all time. That is a game in which, I kid you not, I put 100 hours into that thing in 10 days. That is the game that reignited my love with gaming. It made me want to go out there and find out everything about this world, find out everything about the other games. I went out and bought the strategy guide for this game after I had already beaten it twice, just because I wanted to own it. And this game, looking at the trailers, it looks like there's going to be something so new and unique to this world and to these characters. In fact, everything is being kept so under wraps that every single time that they put out there a brand new trailer, I put up a Thorgi's theory about it because there is so much you can look at and take apart. I am so excited for this game to come out. And then I'm excited for the Persona 5 Golden and for Persona 5 Arena and for every other spin-off game of it to come out. I'm not kidding. I am seriously looking forward to that. Anything you give me with Persona, I want. So you might be asking yourself, if I'm looking forward to that game so much, and Persona is one of my favorite game franchises of all time, what game could be at number 1? Well, it's a phone game. You heard me. Yes, Persona might be my favorite game franchise of all time, but it's tied with another game franchise, which also has a game coming out this year. And if you can't guess what it is, I'll give you a hint. It's literally all around me. I'm speaking, of course, about Pokemon. Yes, I'm a huge fan of Pokemon, and while Persona is one of my favorite game franchises of all time, Persona 5 will still exist within the video game world. But this year, at number 1, Pokemon Go will be coming out, and when I saw that video game trailer, I almost started to tear up. Yes, don't get me wrong, I'm not stupid. I know that the actual game will be nothing like that trailer. I know that it is going to be nothing like going around and seeing real Pokemon out there in the real world, but this is the first step towards that thing that every fan of Pokemon has dreamed of ever since they were a kid. The very first time that you ever played Pokemon, you had that dream, which was like, man, going around catching these Pokemon, that'd be amazing if I could do it in the real world. Well, we are now finally starting those steps towards making games where you can do that in the real world. Pokemon Go will be a phone game in which you'll have like a little tiny bracelet thing on that buzzes when you're near a Pokemon. Then you'll look at your phone and it'll say walk that many steps to go and get your Pokemon. You go over there and yeah, I don't think it's going to look anything like that trailer. I think it's going to be one of those things in which you just look at your phone and there'll be a picture of the Pokemon and you just hit the capture button and it's done. However, what we did see in that trailer, it's not that far off. The idea of having processing plants out there that instantly stream and buffer information and data and send it directly to our phones, or better yet, to glasses that can actually give us visual augmented reality gameplay as we walk around live, that's not that far off. They've already proven that they can do it. It just takes time to get that much power up and running. So when I saw those trailers, I realized that's about 10 years off. And this is the first step. That world that we all dreamed of, in which we can go out there and be Pokemon masters and actually capture stuff in the real world, that's coming. And watching that trailer, I realized Pokemon Go this year, that will be the start of it, and that has me more excited than any other game that's coming out. So I thank you guys for watching this, and let me know down in the comments what's your most anticipated game of 2016, or what was your favorite game of 2015? Let me know that in the comments down below as well. Also, if you like this video, make sure that you share it all around the web. And also, if you want to see more from me, make sure you hit that subscribe button right there or follow me on Twitter and Tumblr at Professor Thorgi. I thank you all for watching this. Click on one of the videos at the end of this to see more geeky fun from me and come back next time.